All right, Heart fans, welcome to 2024-2025 Heart Women's Wrestling Media Day. I'm your host, Tony Hager with IA Wrestle. Next, we get to chat with Central Methodist University head coach Tim Prescott and student athlete Nani Justice. Guys, this is a special time of year, right? You've got to put the time in the preseason, in the summer, hopefully, for some of your squad. So join us here today for Media Day. We really appreciate it.
Thank you. Yeah, we've got Nani Justice uh with us today. This is my first year in the Heart. Just came over from the KCAC, so I'm excited to see the competition here. But I think this could be a really special year. We actually open up tonight. We host William Woods here at 7 o'clock, starting off conference play right out of the gates, and then we actually travel to the Luther Hill Open this Saturday to get things rolling. But I think this is a squad that maybe over the summer there was a lot of question marks people were asking and thinking, but I wanted to make sure that that wasn't necessarily a mistake, that this isn't necessarily a rebuilding year. We're starting strong right out in the preseason with 7 girls, 7 weights already in the top 20. And I think we've got a few maybe missing on that list, and some of them shooting a little bit higher too. So I think we're a sneaky and a dangerous team that can really do some special things. And again, all starts tonight. They really open up and having fun and letting it fly.
Yeah, first, this is your year one of leading the Eagles. Gotta imagine the anticipation is just all day long, right? You're gonna be going crazy and excited just to show what Nani and the rest of your squad can do, right? So I want you just to introduce her and why she's next to you, and why she's a important part of your program.
Sure. Well, Nani, right up from the get-go, she's actually one of the first wrestlers I met when I first got on campus. She'll be a senior for us this year, wrestling at 131 pounds. She's actually a transfer a while back from Iowa Wesleyan when that unfortunate situation happened there. And she's just a natural team leader, a dominant wrestler with a resume I think that speaks for itself. And she brings the intentionality and intensity to every practice, and just, puts her team first, which is very important. That's one thing we want to make sure. We have a very unique situation here with, we've got our original group. We've got a bunch of transfers, from when Sam was here, freshmen that I brought in and transfers I brought in. So we've got a very unique mixing pot going on to have a special year. And, people like Nani really hone in and bring everything together.
And Nani, Coach mentioned just obviously the Iowa Wesleyan. I don't know what word you want to use for it, but unfortunate situation, right? In coming to a program like Central Methodist, and trying to stay positive, and knowing that you belong on the mat and you can be, one of the top women in the country. What have you learned about yourself since all that, that unfortunate day of you got, hearing that the program's going to stop, and um, what has been, I guess, a blessing that Central Methodist has been able to provide for you?
Oh goodness. Well, for one, I think Central Methodist has probably been the biggest blessing I could receive wrestling wise and just community wise. I think here I've definitely learned the importance of like how having a good team relationship can just build you up as a person overall. I think our team cohesion here is really, really good. It was good last year, and then just having new energy in the room this year also builds that up. And I just kind of had to learn how to push through a lot of adversity. But at the end of the day, I think that honestly just made me a more positive individual. If I can push through my school getting shut down, having to find a new school in a minute, then I think it really just shows that you can do anything, kind of deal.
Yeah. I mean, wrestling is hard enough. The sport of wrestling teaches us about adversity just at the sport alone, and you've had to deal with adversity, off the mat too. So, kudos to you for, finding a home and, ultimately, trying to reach your goal of being on top as a competitor. So, Coach, what are some of the in your first year, what are some attainable goals that you were able to write down that maybe you were able to, look at what the program had in the past and that you've set forth for your women?
Well, I think there's with it being such a new program within the last 4 or 5 years, I still think that there's already been a tradition and expectation set here. Coach Delgado, built something special here. A lot of All-Americans already, our national champion here in such a short amount of time. And so with that tradition being set, you know, the, it's already here. So now it's just about adding on to where we're at and continuing to push forward. So, obviously we want to be competitive in the conference right out of the gates. I don't think that is, not attainable the first year. Again, just seeing where the lineup was last year, very competitive in a lot of weights. And, my goal day one when I took over, late May, early July, late June, early July. There were some challenges, making sure that we can bring in good fits, not just great wrestlers, because I think that's equally as important. Knowing what the culture is, knowing how to bring in people that can fit that culture and help us pursue. But, I think we've done that. I think we've filled some weights that need to be filled in the past, and brought in, like Nani was saying, some good energy, some big personalities, which is always good to have, and just raising that level of expectation every single day. And, the wrestlers, again, I can't speak more highly of. They've met every challenge that I've set so far. I mean, anytime you have new change is hard, regardless, whether it's good change or bad change. It's change regardless. And so, our wrestlers have really taken that and taken ownership of their own training. And so we're really excited to be able to showcase that tonight, and then going on through this weekend.
Coach, the Heart features several NAI national champion wrestlers and some of the top programs in the country, right? What excites you most about being able to compete alongside them and raise your program to, turn it into a premier program, right? And does that help you recruiting wise down the road, knowing that, the women are going to get challenged and compete with some of the toughest teams in the country throughout the season?
Sure. I mean, I think that the conference speaks for itself. I mean, I would compare it to, if you looked at it like a Division I men's side of it, you could compare it to a Big Ten. And so with that being said, the best wrestlers want to compete against the best. And in our conference, we see that, it seems like bi-weekly, if not weekly. I don't think there's very rare do we ever compete against a team that's not in the top 20 in the country every single week. So when you wrestle against that competition every single week, we have no choice but to get better. Iron sharpens iron, just like in our room, we try to provide as much depth as possible to prepare for that. But as far as recruiting, I mean, we're off to a great start, signing a pretty top wrestler yesterday, seeing what we're building here, and being in this conference against some very competitive teams that have been here a little bit longer and has made a name. We're here to be right there with them and compete at a high level. So, no, you're good.
Sorry.
Again, we're excited to be a part of the Hearts of Premier program for women's wrestling, and we're continuing to add to that.
Nani, when you have these big duels, these big tournaments, knowing that these are some of the best women in the country in any division, right? What kind of goes through your head as being a leader on this team and making sure that some of these freshmen coming in are maybe not wide-eyed and the sport of wrestling is growing, right? So at all levels, we've got some real newcomers, and even at the high school level, right? And then when we get to collegiate wrestling, it's the best of the best, right? They're wanting to go to that next level. How do you keep everyone level headed, and you use your experience?
I think I just kind of try to brew excitement rather than nervousness. I think that's really important, and understanding that nervousness is a part of wrestling, but when you turn that into excitement, it just makes it more fun. I just try to make sure everybody's having fun, and at the end of the day, we're all more than just wrestlers kind of deal. And then, like, I also try to instill the idea that iron does sharpen iron. And so that's what we're here for. So in order to grow and be at the top of the podium and be the best wrestler and best person that you can be, you have to face challenges and adversity and wrestle people that are better than you and going to beat you. That's the only way that you're going to grow and succeed. And so like I've just had a couple talks with our freshmen literally last night. They're nervous about today's duel. And so I just try to instill that idea of like, we're going to go out, we're going to have fun, you're going to wrestle your best. And at the end of the day, you're going to get better regardless. So I think it's important to just try to dial down that level of nervousness and wide-eyedness and turn it into something that's more empowering and excitement related.
Nani, what are you doing for your major?
I'm biology pre-med, and then I have a minor in chemistry and a minor in psychology. So
Lots of schooling.
yes, trying to be a
Yeah.
doctor.
Just the way that you speak and handle yourself, the psychology part kind of makes sense to me of where that's going from. So, um, I wish you guys the best of luck this season going forward. Coach, first year coach, obviously all kinds of different things going through your head, and but it sounds like you got the squad ready to go, and we wish you the best of luck. And thank you for joining us here on the Heart Media today.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.